Black ice.
Like I said.
That was my nickname in high school.
You're not coughing, though.
That was my nickname in high school, Black Ice.
Minty? Oh, Black Ice.
What's the correlation?
Nothing.
Were you cool like Black Ice?
Yes, I was slippery.
Oh, you were slick like Black Ice.
Yep, slick. Yeah. Couldn't catch me in a class.
Do some slick shit?
Yep.
Yeah.
Could not find me in a class.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it this one? This one? This one?
That one?
All I'm saying is farting in somebody's mouth should not even nearly be a fetish. That's a fucking... Oh, hey. Hey, everybody. Air horn.
Oh, hi.
We're back. How's everybody doing?
We didn't do the do.
Oh.
Do you have that one still?
How's everybody out there doing in Planet Chat?
In Internet Land.
Let me go to those. Where's that? This is weird doing it. I could probably do this left-handed.
I don't know. You're right-handed, though, right?
I feel like this is the first time in weeks my face is in frame. I'm used to sitting
in the corner
over there.
Yep.
With your back
staring at the side of your head.
Yeah. That's what happens.
You got a good profile. That's your good side.
Here's my face again.
Turn to the left. Turn to the left. Give your profile. Turn to the left. There you go. That's the shot. Oh, wait. It's the other way. Look the other way. Look at me and do it. There's the profile.
Okay.
There's the one.
That's it. That's the one we're looking for. So we have some pretty cool people, and I'm excited about these guys.
Should be fun.
We have some people?
We have people.
Oh, where are they?
Shut up. These guys, so...
I have some people in my head.
Do you?
Yes.
Do they talk to you often?
Occasionally.
Do they give good advice?
Never.
Never?
No, good advice? No, fuck no.
Probably.
That seems to be like...
You should never listen to the voices in your head for good advice. You should listen to the voices in your heart, but not in your head.
There's a difference?
There is.
Oops.
Yep.
I don't know about that.
So I guess we'll figure out which
My heart
switch.
tells me not to pay taxes. My head tells me to pay taxes. So I don't know if I should.
See, that's a smart thing to do, though.
Yeah.
See, that's your brain talking. You should always listen to your brain. Wait, are those voices in your head?
Look,
I'm
confused.
Isn't that a song?
Long hair and this sweet little pumpkin. I ain't going to prison. You understand? I ain't going. Never going back.
Can't take me back. No more locked doors. No more locked doors. Gracias.
All right, you want to get to our guests before they fall asleep?
I would love to.
I hope they're not falling asleep.
I love these guys.
It would be cool if we went to them and they're both snoring.
Can I say real quick before we get into anything?
Yes.
If anybody out there that has not heard of Eve to Adam, you have to check out a few of their songs.
I've heard of Adam and Eve.
Wrong one.
Oh.
So, actually, Victory is a song that's been on repeat for me lately. And Calling My Name is another favorite. Hurt Me, Locked and Loaded, like all. I'm a fan. I'm actually a really big fan of these guys. Like seriously. So if you haven't checked them out, you definitely have to. But you guys get to meet them tonight. So
do I get to meet them?
That's right.
Sure.
Awesome.
Thank you, music
You're
show.
welcome.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
I'm excited.
You should be. You definitely should be. They have some really cool stuff to talk about too that I want to ask about.
Cool.
So
Do you have some stuff to talk about?
I never have anything to talk about.
You always have stuff to talk about.
Dude,
Do I?
Yeah.
What?
Nothing. So I said that shit out loud, didn't I?
You did.
All right.
All right, let's go. No more bullshitting.
All right, let's bring them in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason.
Hey.
Hey.
I was going to try to text everybody real fast, but you guys are too quick.
Welcome, guys. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
I'm excited. So, who are we still waiting on Taki?
Yeah, he should be out here any minute. he just went and watch off the whole entire mowing the lawn.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I guess we'll let the man introduce himself, the man, the myth, the legend himself when he gets here. But so for everybody who is watching, who are you guys and what do you do? I said you're mine. Look at me.
Yeah. What do you do?
Oh, I am Island Nathaniel. I play bass for you, Adam.
I'm Jay, and I play guitar and do some backing vocals when I can.
Woo! And who are we missing?
We're missing Danny, our drummer. I think he's actually busy, so I don't know if he's gonna be able to chime in. And Taki will be out here shortly.
Awesome.
But for now, filling in for Taki is Jim Beam.
That's a good replacement.
Yes.
One of my favorite people.
Right? Never did me wrong. So, question, you showed us right before we went live, but you had a little like strain, and I know that you guys had it on a live that you guys did last week. So you have to explain the.
Yes.
I can't believe you're brave enough to get the dregs out of the bottom of that, dude.
It's a Jim Beam train. This thing's like 50 years old.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But we cracked it open during our live feed the other day, and it didn't kill us. So.
How does it taste? How does it taste being that?
Like dust.
Yeah.
Liquid.
It's
dust.
dirty. It looked kind of cloudy.
It tastes a little dusty, but it gets the job done.
Okay.
Gets the job done.
Hey,
We have some tequila as a backup.
That's
Glad
awesome.
I'm here.
I was watching your guys' live, and it's like, I know I'm going to let you guys make announcements that you guys made, of course, but I was super excited to hear about a few of the announcements that you guys had. So I can't wait for you guys to talk about that too. So
Cool.
How long have you guys been in the band, Eve to Adam?
I've been in a band for a little bit over half a decade now.
Oh,
Nice.
wow. Hell yeah.
Been a minute. Been around for a minute.
And Jay's
Jay's-
new, I know.
I joined in December.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe it was November. I don't remember. It was right around that time. But it's been awesome so far. It's really fun to jam with these guys and like create. Island and I spend a lot of time just fucking around with riffs, and usually turns into something pretty cool. So we'll talk about that more later too, because we got some stuff coming up, and it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I like working with Jay. Every once in a while, I go past the room and I'll hear him playing a riff, and I'm like, it better be for us. Like, that's a good riff. It better be for us.
If I'm playing guitar, normally it's for us. I mean, unless it's like really heavy. He knows when he starts hearing the
shit, right?
whenever he comes by and hears like the Opeth shit, he knows it's probably not going to be for us. I mean, unless it works. We'll see.
I get that. And you have so one thing that I did notice, as far as like your playing style. So
Matthew is outside now.
you're the singer of Filth. You play guitar for Eve to Adam.
Yes.
So how is it switching from what Filth does to what Eve to Adam does? Because it is different styles.
I mean,
So
it's
how does that change?
it's pretty fluid since I don't really do much guitar work for Phil.
Right.
I do write some guitar for Phil, but I don't play it. Mostly it's if I have like a song idea, I just do it and send it over and say, hey, we can play it like this, or we can dissect it and do other things with it. But you might see me with a guitar every now and then with Phil, but it's not going to be much. So the transition between the two is very fluid for me, because Filth, I'm just worried about, getting on stage and screaming at people instead of actually having to do something with an instrument. So
Yeah, you got in my face once when you're on stage. I didn't appreciate it.
you probably smelled like whiskey. Sorry.
That was a lie.
Well, we did.
I saw the picture. It was fine. We're good.
That's awesome. So, how did Eve to Adam get started, and how did you come up with the name?
There he is.
There he is.
That's the guy with all the answers.
Yeah. I thought it was 8 o'clock, so I got stuck in traffic. No, I'm just kidding. I live here. I was mowing the lawn. mowing the lawn, because in Florida you have to start doing lawn work around 7 p.m. because the time you just die. You die outside in July.
He was really into it too, because I was standing there for about 15, 20 minutes just watching him mow the lawn before he realized I was there.
I didn't even see him, man. He's like dressing all black and shit. Like, I'm like, how do you not see that guy? But yeah, I was very focused, I guess. So yeah, thanks for having us on. Appreciate it. Yeah, Eve to Adam had its debut in New York City. Our first real gig was I think it was the end of '99 at CBGB's, where we went on to be a resident band there for up until they closed, up until 2006. We played there 34 times. Pretty much essentially where I cut my teeth as a performer. A guy like Hilly Slovak is a man of few words, and you like it that way because usually they're not good. So if he doesn't say anything, it's good. And I think he said twice to me in my whole career that I didn't suck that night. So that was his way of saying like, you're doing okay, you know? So yeah, and the name originates from John Milton's Paradise Lost. I don't know how it wasn't intended to be that we were in the Big Apple, and that poem is all about the temptation of the apple, but it's just kind of intersected like that. And it was just it was a book of poetry my mom had given me before I left for New York when I moved there to pursue music. And it popped out at me when I was sitting in LaGuardia, in Tampa International, and then flying into LaGuardia, and I just remember it just popping out at me. And I was like, I told my brother, and I was like, man, let's live with this for a minute, see how it goes. And well, here we are 20 years later, so I guess it's okay, you know? I've had to say Eve to Adam a lot because it's usually Adam and Eve or Steve and Adam or something like that. I usually have to say it's Eve to Adam, not Steve and Adam. But hey, today it could be whatever you want. I don't care.
2023, man.
Yeah, man.
Careful,
totally
careful.
Cool. However you want it, it's all right with me. As long as you, as long as you buy the ticket and buy a shirt, I'm good with it. You know what I mean? I'm good.
That's awesome. So, how long have you each individually been playing your instruments, and Taki for you for singing and performing?
I mean, I never really set out to be a singer. I was a bass player. I thought bass players had the best job. Low impact, full rock star benefits without a lot of responsibilities.
Damn, you're going to sit there and take that, dude? Come on, man.
Well, I mean, he's an exception. He's molded himself into what this band has needed, and we're very grateful for that. But when I was playing like keg parties and stuff in high school, the cool guy couldn't sing, and the guy who could sing was not cool and couldn't get laid, right? So I was like, man, just it was no way in between. Like I was like, man, so I just out of frustration, I started taking vocal lessons, and that's kind of where it started. And then I found that I had an aptitude for it, and then I went to music school and pursued it. I took voice principal in a conservatory and studied all aspects of vocal training and all kinds of shit. And then subsequently undid everything that I learned in school when I moved to New York and started a band. So it was good. It's good to have the technique because, at the end of the day, you still have to sound kind of punk, so it's got to be real guttural. So it's like the mix between the two, But yeah, so I started taking singing lessons I was 15. So I'm 45 now, so it's been a minute,
Oh, yeah. You definitely have a damn good vocal range, and your vocal abilities are on point. So. Oh,
I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, over time, I've also added to the arsenal. I got the chance to study with some really great teachers. Katie Agresta was one in New York when I first moved there. And then obviously Melissa Cross was life-changing for me. I started studying with her in 2013, and I studied with her for almost 3 years, right up until I left New York. So, when you're going to like vocal lessons and Randy Blythe is walking out from Lamb of God, I think you're in the right place. It's a good spot, because if she can make him do that, if he doesn't lose his voice, I'm in the right place. So, she's awesome. She was a life changer. She actually allowed me to do what I was able to do in the studio but take it out on the road and effectively be able to replicate it without destroying the mechanism, right? And so, Corey Taylor was also studied with her quite a bit and adopted her technique as well. So, it's a good school to be with. Corey Taylor, Randy Blythe, quite a few others, David Draymond, just to name a few. A few famous, successful vocalists. So yeah, I've always pursued it. I always feel like you can, you keep studying. You never know everything, and you're never as good as you think you can be, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, that's a damn good rule to have. Keep going.
Forever.
Island, you were playing. Island came out of the womb with a bass and this hat, and it was like, I love punk, man.
And my parents were both musicians, and my mom was like a singer in the choir, and my dad was a drummer, and my mom dabbled with acoustics. So I was always around music my entire life, and then I've been playing in bands though now for, God, that's gonna age me. I've been playing in bands for about 31 years now. So.
Dude, tell the truth. We're old. It's okay.
But yeah, I had my first band when I was about 13.
Man. Hey, listen, man. Your formaldehyde's working. Whatever you're doing looks good. It's listen, if you're in a band like 3 years these days, like you're old. You know what I mean? We've been in this band 20 plus, doing this 20 plus years. It's like, we're the old Jedis. We're like Yoda's cousin or something. We're like, we've been doing it for a long time. So, and old school. I mean, I toured before there was, I remember MapQuest when you'd print out some directions.
Yeah, the guy at the venue that'd be like, you go down the road till you see a red barn, make a left.
Yeah. Where the crypts are, take a right. Immediately take a left. Yeah. It was like I found out how to read a compass because I didn't understand what the south side of Chicago was. I thought I was on the north side. Nope, we were on the south side. Roll them up. Roll them up, keep driving. Yeah,
Southside Tallahassee.
Well, there's plenty of places in America where there's a lot of crazy shit going on. It's not just Chicago, New York, and LA.
I grew up in the Midwest, so a lot of our shows back then were like, it was like the punk rock haven where you're like going to different college towns and doing basement shows and like just touring around the country just playing basement shows in different college towns. And there's always just one giant party.
I bet that was fun.
That was a good era. I actually kind of missed touring that way. I always love basement shows. They're just like the energy, like you get that energy of like, the old school.
Yeah, like the all ages vibe. Like when you got, when you've got like teenagers in the audience and they're
where you never know when somebody's about to break the bathroom toilet with a sledgehammer
or just break it just regular, just by dropping one.
I was playing one show I played at Kent State, and I remember we were playing in the basement, and the music was so loud that the rafters started shaking, and they opened up, and all these old porno magazines just started falling out of the ceiling. And we're like, what the hell is going on up here? Then,
by the way, Family Feud says #1 place to hide old porno magazines in the ceiling. That's where we all hid them, in that disgusting paper bag that your buddy's uncle gave you. And you'd hide them in the ceiling tiles where your mom could find them. Right? You know what I'm talking about.
It was like 1990. I want to say it was 1994, 95 when I did that show. But one of the things that fell out of the ceiling was an old Sonic Youth vinyl. That's like one of the first vinyls. So when that came, like when I saw that, I'm like, what is this? And I ended up taking it with me, and that's when I first discovered Sonic Youth. It's awesome.
Right on.
That's awesome.
So there you go.
Out of all the porn mags, you took the Sonic Youth album.
I'm a bass player, man.
That's
all I got to say.
I advised him to plead the fifth on that one, but he's got to do what he's got to do. No, it's funny. There was no hand sanitizer or K95 masks when you open that bag. I mean, those mags went through quite a few hands, and it didn't stop you from doing what you had to do. Just want that to be said. Maybe our immune systems are stronger because of that. I don't know.
Like I'm out.
Jay's like, I can't be part of this. He's like,
Jay's up in the ceiling right now.
Oh, do I just hear when I do
up
that?
in the ceiling. Yes.
I'm trying to push it on. I'm trying to push it on Facebook. Do I disappear when I do that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, so shit. Just trying to be discreet.
Stop, Jake,
You're-
you're ruining it, man.
I'll stay. I
You're
won't
doing
leave
it,
now. I'm
man.
sorry. I didn't know you guys were going to miss me so much.
What's that?
I didn't know you guys were going to miss me so much here. But
It was
no.
a good beta test. We missed you. Congratulations. It's better than
Hey.
the alternative.
What's the
Or
alternative?
not missing you at all. I've had those band members as well. When the guy's like, "Hey, did I miss anything?" Nope. You can take another break if you'd like.
Well, no, I just chose to stay in the AC tonight.
What's that?
I just
Smoking
chose to
out
stay in the
of
AC tonight.
Yeah, but you're at the house, and I just heard that there was a bunch of heavy furniture coming.
I'm busy. I'm on an interview.
He's locked the door already. He's
dear.
barricaded it. And that's
Nice.
it. So yeah. So yeah, it's I mean, I don't know. When kids come up to me and go, "Man, I want to do what you do," and I'm like, I always vowed never to be the dream killer. So like, I don't say like, "Man, you should be a dentist and have a Porsche and get the real good drugs." No, no. I was my answer to that is always, you gotta love this more than anything else, right? Music, because it's been an incredible ride, but the cost has been high. Like, my relationships have always suffered. Family ties, busted wide open, broken because, defiance of, parents' advice or, I mean, just like so many things are going to like, you got to be willing to like really like double down on everything. And
You miss holidays and birthdays.
yeah, then you've got to love that. That's what I always tell everyone. It's like this: if you love this more than anything else, then you're in the right place. But if you even have a doubt in your mind,
You're gonna have a hard time.
you're gonna have a really hard time, because
Yeah.
this thing will take everything. Like, it will just consume your marriage, your friendships, your holidays, schedules, all normalcy of life. Any sort of normalcy of routine pay. I mean, there's always things you hear in a band van that you'd never hear anywhere else. Like, some guy's like, "Hey man, I'm getting this settlement, and like when I do, I'm gonna like," and you're like, "Yeah, I see what you're saying there. That doesn't sound like a solid plan, son, but I see what you're saying. Okay." So yeah, I mean, if you're willing to go on the ride, I mean, some people that are too smart, I'd say that the ride is rough for them, because they're the people that have the most fun are the ones that are like kind of like don't know any better and are just enjoying the bumpy ride, like they're not bothered by anything, then it's okay. But if you're like a little bit sensitive and above average intelligence, like, it's gonna be rough, because what's coming around the corner is gonna suck, while the other
Are we
guys like have
dumb?
no idea.
Are we dumb for doing that? I feel like we're dumb. Are we dumb?
Hey man,
We're kind of dumb.
That's probably
I'm pretty
something
sure.
have some
Pretty
kind
sure
of
Tiger just said we're dumb.
I mean, we're intelligent now, but not when we started out. I mean, there's other things. You were in medical school, for the love of God. What happened to you?
dropped out here some dumb.
You dropped out of John Hopkins to play bass? I mean, dude, if you could get in a time machine and go back, what would you do? You'd do the same fucking thing, wouldn't you? Exactly. Nothing would change. Nothing would change. So that's your answer.
We got no
I do have
comment.
a serious question, and I know that Rob's going to appreciate this. Jeremy probably won't, but
Hey,
my
I don't really like where this is going.
so my oldest son is learning to play guitar, so he wants to know, Jay, what is your rig and gear that you use?
My what?
Your gear that you use.
I use currently. I hope Canella isn't watching. I use a
What?
No.
Don't you dare say you're not using that Dean that's in your room that we brought home.
I don't use it. I don't use it because it doesn't have a whammy bar. So I use my ESP M2
What?
Deluxe, which is basically modeled
Get the
after. Huh?
Got the Kaler. The 7?
On what? Oh well, that's a little different. We're still figuring that one out.
That's an awesome
so-
guitar.
I use an ESP M2 Deluxe modeled after Kirk Hammett's guitar.
Yes.
And right now, actually, I run all amp sims because we are line direct. So As far as amp goes, I just picked up the Ominous system from Bias 2, and it's pretty gnarly. So I'm digging that. But I mean, really, like as far as like gear goes, if he's getting into it, tell him to find what he likes, the sound of. It's not necessarily, doesn't have to be what I use or what anybody else uses.
Right.
It's the constant quest for tone, no matter what you use. It seems like so.
Not to
But
mention
yeah.
Play what feels comfortable for you to play. I mean, some of us like Strat styles, some of us like FGs, some people like MLs. Play
Love MLs.
Yes, fucking love MLs. Goddamn right.
Yeah, different necks have different shapes, so it fits different people's hands better.
Exactly.
Going back to tone too, it really depends on how you play. If you're heavy-handed, certain tones are going to sound different than if you're not. So just tell your son to pick what he likes, and don't worry about what anybody says. If he likes the tone, then use the tone.
I will. Well, he's probably watching somehow, some way, so I'm sure he got the message.
Cool, man.
He's 16. He'll be 17 in December.
Oh,
right
he's
on.
almost
He's
ready
right
to
at
drink then.
He's at that pivotal age right there. What does he listen to?
Honestly, a little bit of everything. He was actually listening to you guys today. He was listening to Filth yesterday a lot. He listens to a lot of Kill Switch, a lot of he likes, it ranges. I've heard him listening to Cradle of Filth. I heard him listening to
Does he have a favorite guitar player? Is he influenced by someone, like one or two people that are like really his one and two?
Yeah, he actually really loves Tremonti right now, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Wowza.
That's an experimental.
Damn it, Rob.
I love Mark Tremonti.
Yeah.
I listened to a podcast earlier with him on it. Yeah, I fucking love Mark Tremonti.
Yeah. I think that's his
Can't go wrong with Mark Tremonti. He's written massive top 40 hits, and he's written like metal mastery. Everything in between. So he pretty much covers all the ground. So he did it right. He made his money first and then started playing metal.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he was probably always a metalhead, but he knew what he needed to do to pay the bills, but he could do that. Some guys can't do that. Like they want to, but they can't. Like Mark's got range in that regard, for writing, and even like a lot of those intro Creed licks and riffs are they're very memorable. They're very noticeable right off the bat, right in the first four bars. You know exactly what it is. And his style, his arpeggios, the way he plays things, the way he voices stuff. His tunings, he's definitely he's up there, and that's a really good guy to he covers a lot of ground, so that's good. That's good.
Absolutely. So
all the best things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I actually read is that I'll ask this first. So last week you guys had an announcement that you put out there for everybody about Eve to Adam. Do you want to talk about the announcement you guys put out?
Island?
Which one?
I gotta talk. I don't like talking. We just signed with THC Music and Film, which is Tom Hazard's boutique label that he's doing, and we are releasing a 10-year anniversary of Locked and Loaded.
We're working on a new album.
And we're on a new record.
Tom is awesome. He's responsible for some of the biggest bands in the last 25 years, from Slipknot to Korn to Limp Bizkit, Puddle of Mud to Stain to the list goes on. And out of people that are left in this industry that have been star makers, there aren't many left. So to be on his boutique label and be label mates now with Taproot is pretty awesome. We're really grateful and really it made all the sewage pipe that we've swallowed for the last few years worthwhile. That there was a bit of a silver lining, and we've got a really great manager now. So our front office is good. We actually can't go anywhere if you don't have people that know how to strategize and win. You know what I mean? You can spin your wheels in this business all day long, spend money, be a blowhard and all this false PR, false radio, false bullshit, and nothing happens. It doesn't mean anything. You really got to be with people that know how to, cover ground efficiently and are connected still, and Tom is very smart. He's very creative. It was awesome working on the artwork with him for Locked and Reloaded, it's a remastered version. It's for the 10-year anniversary of Locked and Loaded, which is really the album that put this band on the map. And it's got a couple bonus tracks, and it's the first time our catalog will be available on vinyl, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
We have our own skateboard, like that's cool.
I saw that on your website.
This is just like all stuff that I want. Because I've been in this band too long, and I just never got the coolest merch stuff. So now, I'm going to get all the stuff. But yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's like it's not very often in a band that's as tenured as this legacy of this band is, like, that you get a chance to like be more than halfway through your career and feel like you're almost back as like you were when you were in the van when you were 20 years old. And that's kind of how I feel. Like, it's a new chapter, and there's a real spirit of like ingenuity and youth here again, and like kind of like a fresh slate, where we take everything we've done with us, but we get an opportunity to move forward and try some new things. And for me, that's a really huge gift, because I've been carrying this band for a minute, like since Locked and Loaded in the last lineup with my brother and everything. Kind of like, I've been trying to find my way, and I've had some hits and misses. And the first hit was really getting Island in the band, and he's been in the band now 5 years. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have continued. And now having Danny and Jay, it's just like, I feel like we're a baby band again, which is a great feeling when you have as many miles on the motor as as I do anyway, and I don't know, it's exciting. And to be in the hands of people that know what they're doing, and that I don't have to worry about stuff. Like when Tom says stuff or Derek says stuff, I don't have to micromanage anything, because these guys are pros. They know what they're talking about, and I'm free to work on what I'm supposed to be working on, which is the music, conceptualizing the stage show, and moving the artistic vision of the band forward, instead of having to put out fires and figure out fucking Hail Marys at the last minute to try to save the game every other week, which is what every band goes through these days, just trying to keep themselves operating is hard enough. It's so much energy and so much focus, and how can you possibly do everything, at a certain premier level, so we've always needed these kind of personnel. I've always been in searching of them, and to fucking have them for once, is amazing. I'm very grateful for that. So.
Hell yeah! Congratulations! Oh, hang on, this one.
Yep.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Congratulations. That is awesome. So you guys worked with Michael Bassick, is that his name?
Basket.
Basket, yes. You guys worked
Elvis.
with him on Locked and Loaded, right?
Yeah, that was the first record. Actually, speaking of Mark Tremonti again, I was on the Creed tour. They're about to tour again next year, I believe. I did their last tour in 2012. We did 78 shows for them, A markets and B markets, large theaters, small arenas, everything in between, casinos. And it was on that tour that we were shopping for a producer. The label at the time was like, well, who do you want to produce this follow-up and this new album? And when I heard the first Tremonti album that Elvis Basquet produced, I was sold right then and there. I knew that I wanted him. There was a few song choices that were very particular on that album that I asked Mark, who insisted on those songs being on the album? And he said Elvis. And I was like, okay, that's the kind of producer I want to work with, because he knew that like certain songs have to be there, like they couldn't be left out, And so I asked Mark to connect me with him, and he did. So Mark was responsible for introducing me to Elvis. and it changed my life and changed my musical life forever. He's an awesome dude, great person, like awesome spirit. He's like a big kid, like killer guitar player. It's like you're playing with Eddie Van Halen and Randy Rhoads in the studio. It sucks for most guitar players. If you can't bring it, you're in deep shit, because this guy can, he'll slay you in the nicest way possible. I mean, he'll never throw in your face. He's just going to give you, he'll give you some time off to think about it. But yeah, Jay's going to be fine. I mean, Jay's, if we work with Elvis, Jay's got no problems because Jay can slay, so he's good to go. But I've been in the studio with Elvis where there's been guys that were not prepared, and it's not fun. So I mean, that's a guy who like started his career by making the career of Incubus, right? He was the assistant engineer on the Make Yourself album. They fired that producer, and he was wrapping cables at NRG in LA, going like, well, I hope you guys come back soon and we can continue the sessions and blah, blah, blah. And like Mike Einziger pulls him over and he's like, actually, we'd like to talk to you about, we want you to produce the album. And he produced that huge record. That was what really put him on the map and took him out of the assistant engineer position at NRG. And then from there on, he just like had hit after hit after hit. He was on a tear, and pretty much responsible for like so many bands from 97 to like 2010. I mean, just like any bands from metalcore to power metal, and even like, whatever they call it now, where they call it active rock, whatever it is, radio rock, radio hard rock, whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's, it was, he really, like, when you go into the studio with someone like that, like, you can't help but to get better if you listen and pay attention, because, and that's what I do. I'm just like a sponge, and I like, it's awesome doing harmonies with him. Like, he's a great guy to work with. And, two other producers on that record was Eric Bass from Shinedown, which I co-wrote Straight Jacket Supermodel with, which was an incredible experience. That guy's just a genius. And then Dave Bassett, who is like an amazing hit songwriter who is responsible for Sound of Madness, Shinedown, and insert like so many bands after that. I mean, like, he's done so much. And I co-wrote Immortal with him. I mean, so yeah, I mean, it was like, I love working with different producers on an album because it pretty much almost like locks you in from like no possibility of it getting boring. You know what I mean? Because you're switching atmospheres and you're switching settings and techniques with people, right? Everyone's got their own approach. So it's good because, especially in the time and age where right now, like, well, 10 years ago was just the start of this, but now it's like, forget it. Attention span is like, you can't hand somebody 12 songs. They won't know. They don't know what to do with 12 songs. They barely have time to go through 2 songs. If you get them to listen to 2 songs, you're doing something incredible today, right? Because everyone's attention span is reconditioned with stimuli and social media and digital stimuli, bang, 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 everything, notifications, boom, boom. So it's like, I don't know. I would say that like most bands, like, putting together, if you're even doing an LP, you work with a few different people, because it will guarantee that there's some different territory on the record and it won't be stale. No matter how good anybody is, there's only so many tricks in the bag, so to speak. Right.
Do you prefer a producer that's more akin to an engineer in the sense that they're pressing the buttons, or do you prefer an engineer that's going to be basically another member of the band and bringing input on your music, and maybe you should do this instead of that, or maybe you should let this chord ring out a bit longer? Absolutely. When we paid the kind of money we paid for these albums, you don't want some guy going, that sounds great. No, it doesn't. Right. If it did, I wouldn't be here right now. You know what I mean? Like I want some guy, like, and the best guys that I've worked with are, they're producers, they're instrumentalists, they're engineers, they know frequencies, they're mixers. They're all of it, and they don't hesitate to jump right in. And I'm the kind of guy, like, as a leader of a band, that I welcome it. Yeah. I welcome it all.
Like, you get in the studio with the producer and they look at you and they go, why'd you do it that way? Like, what do you mean? You got a better way to do it? And they always end up coming up with like great ideas.
Well, and they want you to have conviction, obviously. They want you to go in and, like, hit it the way you hit it, and then they kind of evaluate it from there, right? And there's some sculpting that goes on there and whatever. But I mean, you'd have to be a complete idiot to be sitting in a room with guys that have sold tens of millions of albums and not listen to what they're talking about. You know what I mean?
Just speaking to that sculpting and melding, has there ever been a time where a producer said, "Oh, I think you should do that," and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, the guys that sucked.
Anytime I've had a producer that said do that, like I always like at least give it a try because you never know.
Yeah.
These guys on this level, it's like the stuff they ask you to try. As long as you're willing to try it and you're not afraid to fail, like, you know, just go for that. If it's a little out of your range, or it's a little different style, maybe it's a minor second on the landing instead of just always coming down the third or whatever, like just try it out, and you'd be foolish not to. But the guys that get paid the big bucks and have the resumes, there's reasons why their suggestions resonate with audiences and make careers, you know? So the guys that I like, it's like I feel it in my gut. I go off my instinct and my gut. Like that's what I trust. Not my brain, not my heart. I go with my gut. And working with guys like that, everything's in sync because what they tell you, it soundboards off of you as truth. You know what I mean? Because you can feel it. And even if you have to stretch, you know that stretch is what every great guy before you has had to do, from David Lee Roth to Robert Plant, fucking Corey Taylor to everybody. That stretch is the difference between being like a working band and now you're a hit band. You know what I mean? Now you could change the genre, or now you're going to you're putting out an album that is going to be remembered 20 years from now. You know what I mean? It's those little things, that 10, 15, almost 20% that makes the difference. And that's what these guys are. You know, very, very, they're surgeons, you know, they're really good at that. So what we always try to do is write the best we can, right? And then we take it into a situation like that with somebody on that level, and they help to take us that other 10, 15%. And there's not a band on this planet that hasn't had that happen, from the Chili Peppers to Metallica to Motley Crue to, insert Judas Priest. I mean, every band has had an incredible demo of a song. Alice in Chains, Dave Jordan and Toby Wright. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I've heard the demos and it was there. But if you listen to Man in the Box, the demo, and then you listen to the recording, you can hear that 10, 15% that I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And that's that little push, that little step up, that puts you in, from playing the AAA minors to now you're in Yankee Stadium. You know what I mean? Taking 104 mile an hour fastballs from the best pitchers in baseball. You know what I mean? So it's I
really appreciate the way that you put that. It's that 10 to 20% that they bring to the table. You already have the product. The product is established.
Absolutely.
And how many times have you listened to a demo and go, it was good, but now it's fucking great.
Right.
Little bit, 10 to 20% that the producer brought in.
And you're very smart to pick up on that, because here's the thing. You can't get into a room with these guys if you don't have the product, right? If the sound of the band isn't there, if the style hasn't already been, curtailed and cut out and carved, right? There's a style, a signature, a sound, and there's a core group of songs that you're going to build a product off of, right? And so that you have to have all of that to get in the door with these guys, plus the money, plus the contact and the contract, and their schedule allowing you to get in there to do it. In between Slash and Mark Tremonti, he's going to squeeze you in there. So, you know what I mean? There's no time to fuck around, because if you fuck it up, there's no time. He's coming in. Slash is here. He's here in 3 days. You know what I mean? You got to finish this up. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that kind of puts things in perspective too. It's you know what I mean? When you're at that level, it only makes you better, because you know that you're in the arena with some of your heroes and the people that inspired you. And if Slash is coming to Elvis, you better believe I'm going to Elvis. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes the other good part about having that producer there that's also feels like they're part of the band too, is sometimes even in between working, in between sessions, where you're just hanging out for a minute, somebody might be playing a guitar riff or something like that you think is a throwaway riff, and they walk in here and go, "What is that?"
Absolutely.
And you take that and do
It
something.
happened many a times on Locked and Loaded and Ithaca. There were things that were being played in the room that he heard, and immediately it became a bridge, or that now became the lead riff, the construction riff
Like
off
you were
of the
saying,
song.
the song she liked was "Hurt Me."
Right. I mean, "Hurt Me" was like,
Oh, I love that song.
it was like David Bowie style vocals on my part, with like almost Foo Fighters ish kind of like guitar orchestration work. Like it was very amalgamated mix of like different eras of rock kind of put together that made that song what it is. And I kind of had that slant on it, that kind of David Bowie verse, you know, that kind of like the staccato kind of like approach on the verse, the delivery. And like he just helped to embellish that because he's a big Bowie fan as well. And so like we just like went with that, and then we were able to kind of like illuminate it, make it into something that would stand out. But it really did start off with that lick, that lick, you know, that started off with all of that. All of that is where it all began, and all that came from that. You know what I mean? And that's because Elvis heard that and was like, "Oh no, that's something that we can build on." And I remember like we didn't have a chorus, and then I did this "Hurt Me" in falsetto, and he goes, "No, that's it." He goes, that's the note that we need, the lift. That's the lift we need for that chorus to ring. So he goes, "I want you to sing a falsetto, and then I want you to hit it full voice, and then we'll do a harmony on top of that." And then those three components end up kind of lining up and becoming kind of the hook of that chorus, right? But that's all was made in the moment, in the booth, as we're working on shit. And hopefully your drummer hasn't taken too long, because if he does, he's fired. The bass player is thinking he's making Dark Side of the Moon. No, he's not. He's got 6 minutes to do 3 more songs. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Because like
2 a.m.
He's at 4 a.m. in between sandwiches doing another take. Because then it's like then the guitars and vocals, right? I mean, let's be honest. Like rhythm section is key. You got to have a slamming rhythm section. But nothing is going to shine unless you get great guitar work and then killer vocals, right? So if anything takes too long on the front end, the guys on the back end that are bringing up the anchor of the relay 4x100, they're going to get screwed and I've gotten screwed a few times where I just sing 2 songs in one day, right? And now you run into trouble because it's not that you can't do it. It's about vocal quality. So voice quality on an album, right? So it's like, you don't want to sound tired in which song are you going to sing? You're not going to sing the hit song, on that session. You need a full day to do the hit song, right? So it's like, so everyone's got to carry their weight, man. Everybody's got to pull their weight. Otherwise the thing doesn't work. And especially when pressure starts mounting and that clock starts ticking, that thing starts ticking. You start hearing that motherfucker. I can tell you that, and guitar players and vocalists, man, that's like, they got to clean it up no matter what, no matter how it goes. They got to figure out a way to make it happen because you have X amount of days and there's no way he's going to push Slash off for you or Seven Dust or, you know what I mean? So, it's, now it was like going to it's like a master's program in recording, is what I would equate it to. Like I had a bachelor's and then I went to Elvis Basquet's master's school, of recording, and it just made me better, and I'm grateful for it because it just makes you a better artist, So a lot of producers deliver great products, but there aren't a lot of artists that can say that about every producer they've been with. They may have launched their career with that product, but they may have never talked to that guy again, or they did not have that kind of a positive, enriching relationship or experience. Where I can say that actually with Elvis, you get that with him. Like he's a very, you can't help but, just become better because he's the right kind of soul to you put your baby in his hands and it's okay. It's going to be okay. You know what I mean? He knows how to birth the baby.
So speaking of the songs, we do have 3 different videos that we can play to let the people who are watching or who will watch after the live. We have Locked and Loaded, Hurt Me, and Day Drinking. So which one you want to play?
Well, fuck. Yeah. I mean, it'd have to be like I want something that Island's in. So yeah, I'd say day drinking because day drinking's kind of the best of both worlds. It's shot at a festival in West Virginia.
It's not me in the video. It's not me.
And
I hear it all. It's not me.
It's Jay's stunt double.
No, he is not my
he was
fucking
just-
stunt double.
He's just stunt double, dude. No, I'm just kidding. He can't even hold your guitar, brother. He's just. You just have to ask him if he validates parking. And hand him the ticket. No, the red one, brother, convertible Corvette. Yeah, that one. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Nice dress, by the way. No, but we'll do day drinking because
It's a true story.
it's a live video, and Locked and Loaded's a live video. We shot that in front of Chevelle's audience when we played a festival with them in Iowa. But this one was in West Virginia when we were direct support for Hinder, and Blue Oyster Cult was the headliner. And so it was a killer live show, and the video is kind of fun, and Island's in it, and it is a true story. That at the end, that RV was, as much as I loved her, she was just, man, I used to love her, but I had to kill her. You know what I mean? Yeah.
All right.
No.
Day drinking
Yeah.
it is. So everybody watching, this is Eve to Adam. Day drinking.
I can't. Can't get him on the phone. I'm trying. We gotta keep trying. Keep trying. It's got a answer. Keep trying.
Keep going. I'm done.
We'll try him one more time. We can't miss the show.
He's not answering, man. I'm trying. I need a drink.
I love the tagline of "Drink responsibly" after like everybody did 18,000 shots.
Hey, Tim.
That dude was awesome, man. That was like, we didn't have to shoot that twice. He just nailed it on the first time, man. He snapped that thing like it was crazy. That was West Virginia coming at you right there. And coolest crowd, sweetest people, man. We had such a great time. It was such hell getting to that show, but it was so worth it. We literally got to this show 20 minutes, 15 minutes before we were about to hit the stage. 7 minutes, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a throw and go. And it was like, we stole the show because the energy we had was so frantic. And so like, we just poured that all out in the performance. And Thomas Crane did a great job capturing that. You know, I hate music videos. They're really arduous and they're painful to make. And they're really like, it's a lot of fakery. But I like that combo of a video when you can play the live scenes of a band should be in front of an audience, period. Like, that's the best advertisement for the show you can get. You know what I mean? So you want the band in its element in front of an audience. And then you can do all the B-roll and all the other stuff. That's fine. But, like, I hate pretending to rock out and all that shit. I can't stand them. So yeah. I like those. Those are my favorite videos for rock bands, hard rock, metal. Like, you want to see a band, like, killing it in front of a few thousand people or something. You don't want to see them like, I don't know. I just think it's like, it's just kind of a waste of a medium for a band. You know, if you're a solo artist or a pop artist, it's one thing, but bands, like, they got to be in front of people. You know, it's a different animal when they're in front of people. You know,
now,
I just think it's more natural. You know,
Island. Did now everybody go to their YouTube page and check it out again? But did you pull a beer out of your pants?
Yep.
Did I see that? Yeah,
that's what Jeremy caught the whole video.
In the secret compartment.
That's what you gotta have. You gotta have that extra. That's your lucky right there.
I was gonna say usually bassists don't have extra room in their pants, but I keep all my beers in the back. You know what I'm saying? Wait,
business in the front, party in the back.
It's Irish.
It's a lot of fun to make, though. Like,
yeah.
I went through your guys' YouTube, of course, and watched every video. And
I'm sorry.
But that one looked like it was a lot of fun to shoot. And you said that was like true, like your van, your bus really did like break down.
Oh yeah, the bus broke down. The guitar player quit. Literally like the morning of the festival. So like half of the day was like we were figuring out how many garbage bags to buy and how much lye we were going to need and like where we were going to kill him and bury him.
Should have called me then.
And the other half was like, how the fuck are we going to get to the show? So we caravanned with like the drummer's mom, Jeff Rains' mom, God bless her. We crammed into her like her little like crossover and and then Paulie from Two Vets who was doing the Veterans Charity Foundation thing with us into his thing and gear in his thing. I mean, we were just caravanning through the mountains and not easy terrain to drive when you're under the gun. I mean, I was white knuckling it, man. I was like, God damn, we're not going to make it. I mean, literally one bottleneck or one accident, we wouldn't have made that show. It was just literally, and we had the video on, the director's there and all this shit. And we're like, oh, if we don't make this show, it was like, oh my God. I mean, it probably shaved a few years off my life, the stress from that situation. But it turned out to be a great video. And I think the proof's in the pudding as far as like, there was no fronting in that, all that energy and all that was very cathartic, and it was captured. So, and, Thomas is a great director. So we were in good hands. I knew as long as we got there, the crowd was going to be great. We were going to do what we were going to do and it was all going to work out. But we just had to fucking get there. And West Virginia is not an easy place to get to when you're behind the eight ball. So that was, but that's the way it goes on the road. I mean, you can plan all day, but that 10, 15% contingency for shit that you didn't expect was going to happens, that's where you really find out what kind of a band you're in, who's in the band, right? That's when bands become bands, you know?
Right.
That's why like bands come up to me and they did like a showcase and like 2 club gigs. And I'm like, you guys aren't a band. You need to go out on the road for 12 weeks. And 4 weeks in, someone's going to want to kill the other guy. And then shit's going to get real. Like you're going to find out who's going to be in the band at the end of the 12 weeks and who's not, because you don't know anything until pressure is added, because pressure changes everything. Just
Absolutely.
like in aeronautics and chemistry and everything, like it's an element that will cause shift, you know, and if there's any weakness in the construction, it will be exposed.
That's why I was one of my main roles I always have for like being on the road with, especially when you're on the road with your friends and everything like that, is you're gonna have those moments where somebody freaks out, somebody gets angry, like people are gonna get mad. You get mad at each other. That's what you do. But when you go to sleep that night and you wake up the next morning, it's a fresh start. Like whatever happened that night before did not happen. Keep going.
Well, I mean, when you're with the right guys, you wake up the next morning and you apologize and you just, you know, you go back to being the same group of douchebags you were the day before. You know what I mean? You're joking with each other and breaking each other's balls and whatever, you know? So it's like, I mean, that's the kinetic like mesh that keeps bands together. You've got to have that ability to flare up at each other, but also be able to swallow it and love that dude enough that you're like, despite everything, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else than with this dude. You know what I mean?
Do you care to tell us if there have been any fist fights?
We did have a guitar player punch me in the face once. And he's actually still one of my best friends. Still love him.
Wait, who's that?
When Jerry.
Oh, Jerry. Well, Jerry had a situation. It was definitely, I mean, I wish we had that on film. That would have been something you could have shown at School of Rock when shit goes bad. It goes bad. So yeah, that was pretty crazy. He was on a plane the next morning. He was, it was like
It was one of those things where he got on a plane the next morning, but we were still kind of sad to see him get on the plane.
We were sad to see him go, but he had to go. It was like Brett Michaels, your tour ends here, Jerry.
But I still hang out with him all the time.
Yeah,
still hang out.
no, and he's a great guy. And I love him.
At least you didn't give him the Dave Mustaine treatment. You know, wake up, your bus leaves in an hour.
Yeah, pretty much it was that.
It was a little bit Dave Mustaine light. It was a little Mustaine light on that end. It was a little bit like that because he didn't have much of a recollection of what happened the night before. Although he knew something epic, there was an epic fuck up, and then and he knew he was departing, but we were gentlemen about it. We made sure to get him a taxi and everything, and get him to the airport on time and everything. But
Hey
but
guys,
yeah,
we have some comments
Yeah.
with
that we need to go over
Yeah.
real quick.
we usually do this like pretty back to back, but we have Tammy. She says, "What's up, party people?"
Tammy,
Tammy.
Oh,
We have Buck.
Buck.
I like Buck. My
Hey,
name's Buck.
speaking of Buck, just real quick, they have a show with Thunder the Snake and David Starling. You guys remember him?
yep. Oh yeah.
At 926 on, I'm going off of memory on this one, on August 21st. I think it is August 20th, something at 926.
Yep, we're going.
I don't have Facebook
I'll be there.
anymore.
There
so.
is another act on the bill. I apologize. I don't remember who the other who the other artist is.
I wonder if it's Kyle's other band.
I don't
Maybe.
think so.
Oh.
I don't think it's his other band. No.
Hell yeah.
I would recognize the name, and I didn't recognize. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So Try My Song,
Thunder
the Snake.
Snacks.
Thunder the Snacks.
Thunder the Snakes, and David Starling, and sorry, I'm an asshole. Other band, I don't remember the name of the other band. I am an asshole.
We already
said
knew
it.
that.
Yep.
Let's see.
I'm an asshole.
Hey, yes.
Dennis Leary.
Dennis
What a
fucking Leary.
fucker.
We have Samantha. She said, "Welcome
Samantha.
back, you crazy kids." We have Buck says, "Looks like that dude from Filth."
Yeah, it does kind of.
Yeah, you kind of do look like.
A little
Let's
bit.
bring. You kind of do look like that dude from Phil.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of resemblance
All them white dudes with dreadlocks.
I don't think it's him.
I heard that guy was a dick.
there. Yeah, he's a complete asshole. Don't ever like go up to him and try to
See?
talk to him.
Yes.
He's a dick. Total dick.
Yeah,
With that being
well,
said, please
shit
come
on
and see
that guy.
Phil the 28th to 29th. We're gonna be playing places.
Yes, I know.
Where, here in
We are.
town? Here in Tallahassee?
No. The 28th we're at West End in Sanford, and then the 29th we're in Tampa.
Awesome.
Oh
nice.
yeah.
Nice, hell yeah.
Oh yeah. We have John.
Yeah,
He
go
says-
there and throw shit at you.
Yeah. A funny story. John and I went to high school together. He's one of the very few people that I've connected with and stayed connected with all
I'm sorry,
these years.
John.
And it's an ESP, John. It's an ESP. It's a real ESP.
Do you
Yeah,
care
you
to
gotta
show
send me some of those high school photos of Jay.
I know. I was about
The
to say
yearbook
that.
photo. We need the yearbook photo.
Of me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't even know if I have one. I was a nerd. I was fucking like 90 pounds. And then all of a sudden I was like 300. Now I'm at like a happy 194-ish.
Jay, do you care to show us this ESP that we're talking about? Is it any of the ones behind you?
It's right behind. Do you want me to grab it?
Yeah.
All right.
Please.
You want it? Yeah, of course.
We do like showing off all these ES. Make sure you fucking.
What's that video?
You better show that Dean. Hey, can we get a look at that Dean as well?
Now I really hope Canella's not watching, but there it is.
Can I get a look at that Dean as well? That's badass. That ESP is badass.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yes.
it is.
Oh,
You should
thank you. This
should show that. You should show that Dean.
This is the M2 Deluxe. Which one? Yours?
Is that,
Yeah.
next room?
Yeah, I want to see that one. Where is that one?
The Dean is
I heard-
pretty dope.
I heard pretty fucking great things about this thing.
That's the Dean.
Oh, dude, that's badass. Wow.
But it's a 7-string, so like it's
Yeah.
kind of weird playing drop C on a 7. So
Right.
I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to use this, but I will use this some way or another.
Our friends at Dean are working on one for you right now, I think, right?
I have to get with Canella again. I know when we went to visit, the stock was super low.
Right.
And when
I
I
know
talked to him, he said, just get with me later. So I've kind of given him time. But we'll be. I think Island said he wants to get together again soon. So I'm sure we'll hash something out soon.
Yeah, I'm going to lock that in for you because I'm going to bring him a sick bottle of tequila. And by the end of that thing, bring your sketch paper because
I want it to look like this.
we're going to put something sick together, dude.
I have models picked out, but I don't know
Okay.
what he has in stock, so we'll see. You know.
Jay, was there much of a learning curve playing with the frets? The fan frets, I think that's the term.
The fan frets actually are much easier to play. Stretchy
No
stuff.
shit.
Especially doing like triad runs and stuff like that. It's very it's much easier. Weirdly enough, I didn't really have a problem with it at all. Now I can't say that I've played it a lot, but what I have played on it has felt very natural. It's actually kind of made like for how your hand works, if that makes sense. You know?
Oh yeah.
I recorded a few tracks with that thing.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
it's
awesome.
dope. It's I love it. So we're trying to figure out. Nyland and I had this conversation. I'm trying to figure out if I want an extra low or an extra high string because it is a 7-string. And most of our stuff is in drop C, which is just a standard drop tuning on a 6-string guitar. So I've kind of messed with both. Not sure which way I'm going to go yet. I guess it just kind of depends on, we've talked about getting in a room together and just kind of like, cracking a bottle of whiskey and just writing, all of us. So it may come down to something comes up where it's like, hey, I want an extra low note here. That's going to just be fucking mean. And that's in the scale that we're playing in. So, it's a solid guitar. I'm actually super excited to talk to Chris Canella about the Dean endorsement because I've always loved the guitars. I've always loved the MLs. Rob, you mentioned the ML. I have an ML. It just doesn't have a tremolo system. So it's hard for me to do what I want to do with ETA lead work wise. It's hard for me to do without a tremolo system because it's just like that's my go-to for things and weird noises sometimes. So as much as I can shred and arpeggiate and play a bunch of notes, I like to have the option to throw that in there for that little extra flavor. So
Yes.
I've been playing Deans for 14 years now. I have a soft spot for them.
Yeah, the band's been endorsed by them since 2018.
That's
Wow.
awesome. Jay, I hope that endorsement comes through for you, buddy.
I mean, it is. I'm part of the band, so it's there. It's a matter of getting something together and deciding what I'm going to use and what's available.
We're so happy that our friend Chris Cannella is now in charge of operations at Dean. I've known Chris since 2012. I first met him on the Creed tour when we were with EVH. My guitar player at the time was sponsored by and endorsed by EVH, and Chris was the brand manager for EVH there. So I got to know him quite a bit on that tour because I got him in to quite a few Creed shows, and we became friends. And when Island told me that Chris Cannella was moving down to Florida and taking over Dean, I was like elated because, I mean, not just because of our personal relationship and we were maybe going to get a little more attention, but because the brand deserved someone of his caliber. And
Yes.
it was in a situation, the company was in a situation that desperately needed someone with his expertise and his vision to right the ship, and he's done just that. I mean, he has picked up the brand at, pretty much at a really tough spot with COVID and everything, and supply issues and everything. And he's done an incredible job at, and people jumping ship, major rock stars going to other brands, and he's done an incredible job of, stop the bleeding tourniquet, and then kind of restoring it. And I expect some pretty cool things from them in the year to come. So it's going to be good. We're excited. I mean, they're a great brand, and they're right out of here in Tampa, and just another great Tampa Bay metal, legacy company. So it's awesome.
And the cool thing about it is you're not just talking about some small outfit, mom and pop's guitar maker. You're talking about fucking Dean.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I own zero.
It's a legendary brand. I mean, it's Dimebag Darrell. I mean, like, come on, I mean, that guitar, like, changed the game. Not like the thing.
Now they got Perry King.
Perry King's on board. Kind of picking up the slack for where Dave Mustaine jumped off, and
they got Doyle
and Doyle, and there's always rock stars that want to push that brand because exactly what you just said. I mean, it's such a known brand and it has such a history. And it's always been, not only known to be quality product, but come up with, innovations and game changers as far as styling and approaches to the electric guitar. So, we're happy to, we're very, very grateful to be with them. And we've had some awesome conversations with, they're super excited with what's going on with the band, and they pledged a lot of support to us. So we just want to get as many kids playing fucking guitar again, That's really what it is.
100%.
That's what it's all about. We got to make sure that next generation is learning how to do that pentatonic squeal. It's Zach Wild, man. You got to learn it. You got to know it.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
We have a few locals in the chat too. We have This Dying Breed, Dylan, lead singer of This Dying Breed, says, "What's up, guys?"
What's up,
and
man?
we have their bassist Greg says, "Yo." They were on.
I want to say too, real quick, while we're on the topic of Dean, is me, Island, and Danny had the opportunity to go and tour the facility recently, about a couple months ago now, and hang out with Chris and see the wall of dimes, and it was pretty surreal to see all that. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man, and just to see how their operations work, and we're super happy that they're on board with us and we're on board with them 100%.
Hell yeah.
Since we're talking guitars at the moment, we were talking about Mark Tremonti earlier. Mark Tremonti has a one-off that he did with PRS called a Stella. It kind of looks like an Explorer almost. It's called a PRS Stella. Goofiest, coolest fucking guitar I've ever fucking seen. And he said people ask him all the time, where can I get it? He said, well, you can't.
I need to make one of those. Then I don't have to do anything anymore. I can just sell that guitar for forever.
So
Over
they
and
made a
over on
custom,
eBay.
a custom one-off for him on that?
Yeah, the PRS did a one-off, completely custom. It kind of looks like an Explorer, but it kind of doesn't. You'll have to check it out. It's a PRS Stella.
Cool. Good beer.
I will say I have my eye on the Dean Z series. I love that, the way that looks. And
Yes.
they're either the Zeros, I think, or Z, I can't remember. But they're very much an Explorer.
Yeah.
I think that might be one that's going to be hanging on the wall soon.
Oh yeah,
That's going to be in the lawsuit.
it's going to be on the wall. Soon.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what lawsuit?
No lawsuits.
No
I
lawsuit.
am not
No.
the one. I know. Sorry, guys. I gotta go.
You got canceled.
Yeah, I did. I didn't even try to.
You usually don't try. to
No,
get
I know.
canceled.
You don't have to anymore. You just gotta look
It's
a certain way.
2023.
You gotta be a
2020.
white guy with dreadlocks, and then it's cultural appropriation, and I can't win. But I'm not fucking cutting them.
The sound bites and take whatever the fuck they want. That's what they do.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. So I do have one last question for you guys. So since you're coming out with a new album, what can fans expect from this new album? And is it going to be different from old E ETA?
It's going to be a cross section of stuff that you come to expect from the band, but there's definitely going to be some new territory. Some stuff I've always wanted to do, and just like I said, like there's a new license to be free to explore things that there's no restriction right now on stuff. So this is going to be an album where, like, one thing I learned through the whole pandemic experience is that not to take anything for granted. And if we were going to get a chance, like, to do this again, which was not in the cards, like wasn't guaranteed, I wanted to make sure that we knocked off some bucket list stuff, you know what I mean? Stuff that I'd always wanted to do, and people we wanted to work with, or studios we wanted to be in, and just kind of like, it's almost like, it kind of taught me, like, treat every outing as if it's your last, because, we really don't know, nothing's guaranteed. So we're going to make the most of the offering, and certainly there's going to be some heavier terrain, and just like different, like I always like to push things, and just add different dimensions every album. I think, for things to remain interesting, it starts with the band. So you can't expect the audience to stick with you and be on the ride if you're just mailing it in, and what's the purpose of making another album if you're just gonna just do what you've done before, just in different tunings or something with different titles. I mean, I know a lot of bands do that today. That's not what we want to do. I want to add another solid album to the catalog, and that means breaching new territory always. As artists,
Rocky,
I have
artists, so
you
many
have to,
things
man.
to show you, dude.
Yeah, and I know we have like 70 fucking songs. It's
There's a folder.
I
pretty
know,
big.
I know. We're not gonna have a problem. Well, we did a 5-year deal with Tom, so we've got plenty of.
We're good.
We've
then.
got plenty. We've got a few albums to put out, so it's good that it starts here. But we already have the title for the album, the concept for it, even the artwork, and quite a bit of like the kind of like lyrical sentiment or statements, things that we want to get off our chest and things we want to say, clear the deck, so to speak, with certain things. So a lot of that's already like structurally, the skeleton is there.
Right.
It's really just about sifting through this incredible mass of riffs and finding the chunkiest, best, fucking meatiest riffs that are there, you know, and building off of those. Because, I mean, I don't care what style of rock you're doing, it's all about the riff. You know, the riff is everything. It's, you know, it feeds everything. So if and Jay is a great riff writer, Island's a great riff writer. There's no shortage of that. So I think as long as you've got riffs, you're good. You know, there's plenty of places to go. So we're in good shape in that regards. We're probably gonna have more material than just this one album. So probably this one will come out, and then the follow up to that will be a lot sooner. You know, so my theory is, don't get in the way of a streak, and if it's flowing, get it down, capture it. Even if you use it later, just, you know, don't take it for granted that it's going to be there the same way. An energy in a band is not forever, you know, especially like this particular situation is like almost like a rebirth, and you have to take advantage of all of that special quality that's there right now with the sentiment and the feeling and everything. You can't take anything for granted. So like whatever is untapped and flowing, we're going to just keep filling pints up. Just keep passing them down the bar. You know what I mean? You got to go with it, because it's not always there, and you don't know when the reservoir runs dry. So, you know,
I think it wasn't that long ago. I think it was yesterday. I was sitting there and checked in on Jay, and he's like, just wrote an ETA riff. And I'm like, add it to the books. Keep it going.
Actually, that was the night that Island and I funny enough, I bought all this food to cook for the house, and nobody was here. It was just me and him. So we ate chicken legs and Italian sausage and got drunk, and we wrote a song, sort of. Taki, it's the one we sort of showed you the other night.
Yeah. I'm
going to mix that down a little bit, just so you can hear everything else. And then we'll... But not to bring in, you know, what we're doing. Anyway, it was cool. I love the fact, I love living with... I actually live with Island, so it's nice to be able to be like, hey, dude, come and check us out. And like he said, he'll walk by my room, and I'm always fucking around with something. And so what normally happens is, you know, a riff turns into 3 riffs, turns into 4 riffs, turns into a song, just by, you know, being in the same vicinity as each other, rather than throwing ideas over email and whatnot. And I'm very excited, you know, like I said before, we've talked to a great extent about all of us getting into a room together for a few days and just seeing what comes out of it, rather than just like, hey, I wrote this song, learn it.
Well, that's what's great. It's great to have wood to throw into the stove, you know what I mean? Because that's how things go to the next level. You know, when you're in a band, it's like you need stuff to chew on, and then what the engine starts to take, it takes on a life of its own, you know, when you reach terminal velocity and the combustion happens and the heat is there and everybody's like feeling that, you know, what when you have 3/4 of the way, that last quarter that happens in that room, that seals the deal right there, you know. And that's the exciting part of being in a band. It always like blows my mind how many bands have left that out of the recipe nowadays. You know,
technology has definitely taken over that way, where it's like, it's so easy to just be like, hey, you know, here's this riff I wrote, and email it to somebody, versus actually jamming it out and, you know, getting somebody else's input like at that moment, versus, hey, listen to your riff for a couple days, I think we should do this. It's like, there's something to be said about the energy in the room when you're with the people that you should be with.
And I totally agree with you 1,000%. And it's like nothing against technology. It's awesome that bands can live in different places and rehearse over Zoom or compile, you know, ideas and concepts for a new album or a new EP or whatever, you know, via thousands of miles or, you know, over ocean and whatever. But there's no substitute for doing all of that and then making sure that you spend 2 weeks or however allotment of time in a destination place together. And, you know, instead of like just reproducing the gridded out demo drums, how about letting your fucking drummer play to the idea and see if it takes on another life with something that he puts on it that's like just like, wow, I would have never been able to program that. I would have never thought about that, you know. How he sits in the pocket, you know, I mean, it makes everything, you know, it just brings it to life. It takes that stiffness away, you know. It's like then it becomes a real live beast, an animal. And I mean, it's one thing writing for radio, but let's be honest, you're writing for the shows. I mean, these songs really live and die about how they're going to be, you know, how you're going to feel like hammering these out in front of an audience night in, night out. You know what I mean?
Well, we're fortunate too that we're all like in the same vicinity. We're not far from each other, so it's kind of cool that, you know, there's not a lot of bands like that anymore. You know, like I said, there's a lot of bands that write over the internet, and we're very fortunate that we're all close together, that we can make that happen. We can plan next week to be like, hey, let's set aside Wednesday and Thursday to go just write, you know, if that's, you know, something we were able to do. So I feel like
that's something him and I, like, by design. Yeah. I mean, we bought houses near each other, you know, we're not, you know, we're 20, 25 minutes apart. You know, I'm not like, it's because it had to, you know, there's got to be that flow over. And how incredible is it that, you know, 3/4 of the band is living in Island's house, you know? I mean, like, literally, it's like Sunset Strip shit. Like, you guys are like Motley Crue in an apartment, you know what I mean? Like, it
feels that way sometimes.
You know, I mean, you cannot underestimate how great that is.
When I get back there, you're going to help me unload that U-Haul, right?
No.
He's just kidding.
I gotta be I gotta be at the Skyway at like 8 a.m. That's a big drive.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All I hear is excuses, Jay.
Where are you at, man?
I'm right here, man. You know where I'm at.
I know. It's hot there. It's hot. It's very hot.
Well, it's Florida, man. You know, what are you gonna do? I wish I had a cabin in Montana, but you know, I don't have that. I got that Spotify money. I don't have that Warner Brothers money. You know what I'm saying?
Like Spotify pays us anything. You know how that goes. By bringing up source
you didn't get that Groupon? I got that Groupon. I got that gift certificates to Golden Corral. You didn't get those? What the
fuck? I will never eat a Golden Corral again, man.
Oh, you will, because we're going to shoot a webisode of who hits the toilet first. Because that's the best. That's the
I already know the answer to that.
Start the timer. You get
right now.
You get on the bus, and you're immediately hitting a rest area very quickly. Very quickly. Never fails. Never fails.
I mean, have you seen the food there? I mean, can you? That's Drano. It just.
That's where Hunger Strike is written about, I think. I'm going hungry. When you're in the line at fucking Golden Corral, man.
Yeah.
The Golden Corral?
Yeah.
Don't we have bagels on the bus or something? I think
Never mind. I love Golden Corral. They just sponsored the band. I love Golden Corral.
Really?
What are you talking about? They have the best coconut shrimp. I'm just kidding. No,
they do not.
No, they do not. Absolutely not.
They don't have the best anything.
They don't. No. I think that's where they wanted to shoot the first waiting at.
They have the best heartburn you'll ever get.
Yeah, the best diarrhea in 4 states going is Golden Corral.
Yeah. And by the time you're done diarrheaing, we'll hit another one.
Well, unfortunately, it's the kind of diarrhea where you throw away your underwear. It's just not even salvageable.
Thank God for Amazon, right?
And you haven't been on tour until that's happened to you, because that's usually once or twice a tour. There will be a sacrificial pair of undies that end up in some sort of restroom wastebasket, because it's just, you know, not even tied, dude. Not even tied.
Fuck did I sign up for it with you guys?
Oh, dude, you have no idea.
You're right, I don't.
What do those vocal coaches say about your smoking?
What's that?
What is it?
What do those vocal coaches say about your smoking?
Actually, Melissa Cross smokes, and most of my heroes, actually, they're all smokers, but I'm not. It's like kind of the off season still. Like, I still have like about six weeks to get back into singing shape. So it usually takes me about 2.5 weeks where I start hitting it, like cardio, running, and shit like that. But to be honest with you, like, because I haven't been like guttural singing like every night, like, this has kind of kept the territory, like, you know, kind of like Brian Johnson-y, if you will. You know what I mean? So it's all about flavoring and keeping it going, and you know, and not killing people.
covers
So.
ECDC.
Oh, my bad. I thought you said something to Jay about not doing excuses or something like that.
Oh, see?
Oh wow, he's got your back. That's good. That's
I've
good.
done this before. This is my house. I've been here before, man. 2
Yes.
hours, 2.5 hours. We sat here and drank whiskey and talked about filth. I don't know what we had to talk about.
We only got like 5% on his phone.
Where it was going.
That's how you know we like you, is when we fuck with you.
Of course. Of
Yeah,
course.
exactly.
This has been one of the more fun ones, I think. You know, at least they're not sleeping.
Oh yeah.
Last time it was just you getting drunk on the internet.
Basically.
That's all. That
Yeah,
shit
you're
was.
right. You're right, because that came to fruition at like 2 p.m. that day because somebody canceled. I don't know who it was, but I ended up being the scapegoat.
Yeah. Hey, you offered. You offered. So
I did. You're right.
We just took you up on it.
No
So-
regrets.
Thank you guys so much for being on the show and for
Thanks for having us.
hopping in and
Thank
spending
you.
time with us. Y'all were a
Appreciate
blast.
it. Good time. Appreciate it.
Let's do it again. We should do it again sometime.
Great questions and everything, and you know, it's fun. When it's fun, it's painless, you know. But some of these are painful.
Like I said, they're not
Painful.
falling asleep, Taki. That's good, right?
I watched,
But this
I
one was good. You guys, this is a good platform, so we'll
I
definitely
watched
do it
the
again.
And the whole time I'm like, is this dude asleep? And then all of a sudden Taki's like, all right, thanks for having us. Okay, bye.
That was Taki never shuts down an interview.
Which one was that?
Sleepy.
Which one was
Sleepy
that?
Joe, Sleepy
Joe?
Brian,
Was
or
that the
whatever his
one
name
where it
was.
was
I
like
don't remember.
ranting and we were already live? I was like, this
Yes.
motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. He's like,
We
yeah,
didn't
this
tell her that
motherfucker
part.
right here. I was like, yeah, you
Yeah.
motherfucker. You
It was
can't
a
He's
just
like, it's like, hey, he's like, well, you know, if it works better for you, I can come back in 30 minutes. And Taki's like, no, we're fucking here. Let's just fucking do it. I'm like, oh my god.
yeah. Well, and
By
then
the
he
way,
told me
my
he was from
sunglasses are
Jersey,
still in
and
your
I was
house.
like, oh, that makes sense. He's from Jersey. I get it.
I think it
No.
was I think it was the color question that got me. What's your guys' favorite color? I think he asked that.
Did he really?
I
I wasn't
so.
paying attention by that point.
It was
Anyway,
something
I
that
stopped.
made me go like, that's a thing? Like, we're asking the wrong questions on our show.
I'm
Like,
gonna say black.
there you go.
Yeah, we made the most of it, and he picked it up at the end a little bit. It was all right. It ended well. It started looking like a monkey fucking football, but it ended well. It ended.
Well, if it makes you guys feel any better, y'all weren't the only one. It wasn't just y'all. So I watched a few other ones. It wasn't just y'all.
And in his defense, I have watched our shows back, and there's points where it looks like I'm sleeping, but I'm actually staring at the monitor, checking levels.
Right.
Right,
Shit. It looks like I just doze out.
That's
right.
true.
I mean, it can get static. It can look static at times, sure, when you're in this forum for longer, for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, to
But
end
you
up
guys
the
did a
show,
great job. Thank you. Thanks again for having us and for taking the time.
Yeah,
And we appreciate it. And it's great to be reconnected with everybody. And you know, wish everybody the best and everything that you guys are doing. And we'll see you somewhere. We'll intersect somewhere. You know, on the road for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I look
dude.
forward to it. So we're going to play Hurt Me to end out the show. So let's get these guys some exposure. By the
Do
way,
you want to countdown?
yeah, in a second. Just to let everybody know that all the links are in the description. So their Facebook link, their website, everything. So go buy merch.
Thank you.
Go
Thank you
buy
so
that.
much.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And
That's
the
cool.
local show that
Is the new merch store in there? Is the new merch store in there? Is that
When I checked it, there was
East Out of
merch.
merch?
I think it is.
Is it eastoutofmerch.com?
Something like
It's
that.
over at eastoutofmerch.com. Yeah. Yeah, check out the Locked and Loaded skateboard, man. It's just, it makes me
It's pretty
almost
sick, man.
want to ollie again. Almost.
No, we need you on the road. Don't hurt yourself.
You're gonna ollie. Woo!
The link is on our Facebook for the merch store. You can get it.
Oh, it is? Okay, cool. Right on. Right on. Well, yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you, everybody.
Awesome. Right on. Thanks again, man. Awesome. Thank you.
You guys
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it.
So
Yeah.
Countdown. You give me a countdown.
Okay, 1.
What do you want? I have nothing to say to you at all. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to hear anything from you. I'm done talking. I don't anymore. I'm so through with everything that we have to like say, and it's always the same fucking thing over and over again. You don't listen to anything I have to fucking say. And you piss me off. Every word out of your mouth is just fucking trash. I don't want to fucking hear it anymore. I'm so done with it. I'm done. We're done. I'm done with you. I'm done with everything. It's that simple. I don't care that I always say this and always come back. You come back too.